by the way, we got Ringo in the last video. Here is Adora. She's kind of like a flame point Siamese. She's got her red ears and tail and feetsies, but she's a big sweet love bug. Somebody taped her and her brother in a box and threw them out of a car, and she's my poor little traumatized baby that you have to love up to gentle. Hey guys, I'm Megan with my hair going everywhere right now as I desperately try to read more of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire so that I can keep up better with these chapter by chapter analysis breakdowns chats. And today we're going over the Yule Ball, which is chapter 23, and this was a very long and kind of tedious chapter, so I'm just going to jump into my notes. So the first thing mentioned is that the students were given a very heavy homework load and Harry is just refusing to do it. Also, this was brought up in the last chapter too, that because the Yule Ball is on Christmas Day, so many students are signing up to stay at Hogwarts for Christmas, which would also mean that a lot of these staff and other positions can't leave for the holidays because there are so many kids there. So now they're commenting that almost nobody has gone home for the Christmas break. And Fred and George have made this canary cream that causes you to burst into feathers, and their prank candy has gotten so bad that basically anybody who's offered anything in Gryffindor Tower is terrified to take it. It's one of those things like, oh, I didn't make this myself, I better not touch it, I might explode in feathers. And it's mentioned to be very snowy outside, with the house elves making puddings and stews, which, I don't know, is that a hearty food to warm you up? Because that's not something I would automatically go to in the cold. And at one point, the trio passes Malfoy, and he calls Hermione a long-molared mudblood, and all three of them turn around to sort of challenge and fight Draco, but instead Hermione's just like, "Hi, Professor Moody," looking over Malfoy's shoulder, and he just freaks out. So Hermione kind of giggles, and she's like, "My, you're a twitchy little ferret. Go, girl, go. Attack that boy. Put him in his place. He needs it." Although I feel like the retaliation for this is going to exponentially come back to bite her in the butt. And at this point, Ron and Harry start to notice that, hey, Hermione, your teeth actually look really good. And Hermione's like, yeah, of course I wasn't going to keep those crazy big teeth that Malfoy gave me. And it turns out that Hermione went to Pomfrey, and Pomfrey was like, hey, I'm gonna start shrinking your teeth back, so just let me know when they look normal. And Hermione let her go a little bit longer than she should have, so now Hermione has perfect teeth. And again, it's been a while since I've been reading consistently, so I don't know how long ago the whole tooth issue happened, but I feel like it's been a few months, and even Ron and Harry are like, how did we not notice this? Then Pigwidgeon has returned with his letter, and he's struggling to carry it, and people are like, oh, look how cute! And so Ron grabs him and is just sort of like waving him around, and apparently Pigwidgeon likes that, but it feels very animal abusive to me. And Pigwidgeon, of course, has a letter from Sirius Black. And Sirius Black is basically saying, Harry, stay vigilant. And Harry's like, what do you think? I'm just closing my eyes and walking into walls? Like, he's insulted by this. And Harry is also told to tell Sirius anything strange that he sees going on, which, I don't know, maybe Sirius Black has some connections that we don't know about, but what's he gonna do? Harry could write, hey Sirius, Voldemort just showed up today, and what is Sirius gonna do from his tropical environment that takes the bird days and days to get to? Plus, even taking the travel time out of it, Sirius cannot show his face in Britain. He is utterly worthless here. So then Harry wakes up on Christmas morning, and he has Dobby like this close to his face. And this really made me upset, and I think this is a true reflection on Harry's character. He gives Dobby, who idolizes Harry, who thinks he is this great savior of the elves. Harry goes to his trunk and finds the worst socks he has, which are these icky, mustard yellow, gross socks that were hand-me-downs from Uncle Vernon that he also used to hide the sneakoscope in last year. So it is really a weathered, tethered sock. And it is really hard to make the argument that, oh, the Dursleys treated Harry so bad and he deserves so much better, if Harry is going to turn around and treat other people as poorly as soon as he's given the opportunity. Like, I even wrote in my notes here, what an a-hole. And Dobby is so excited to get these socks, and he's even like, oh my gosh, they messed up at the store. They gave you 2 of the same socks, but I have 7 other socks, so socks are my favorite. I love socks. And Ron's like, here, have some purple socks, and here, have this ugly sweater that my mom knit. And, Dobby doesn't realize that this is trash to these kids. He is so genuinely excited, and he feels like they thought of him and that they care about him. And if Harry had more of a mindset like Dobby, I would like him a billion times better. But Harry is entitled, he is ungrateful, and he's mean. And Dobby also has a gift for Harry. That's why he showed up there at his bed. And Dobby made Harry these hand-knitted socks that have broomsticks on one side and snitches on the other. That's so heartfelt and genuine and loving. And Harry's just like, ugh, what trash. Thanks, Dobby. Go on. Get out of here. Like, ugh, I hate Harry. And the book even says that Harry's other gifts were much more acceptable than Dobby's act of pure love. And that Harry got a single tissue from the Dursleys, a Quidditch book from Hermione, dung bombs from Ron, a penknife from Sirius, sweets from Hagrid, and Molly made him a sweater with a dragon on it and some mince pies. So it's Christmas time, the kids eat, they go out and have snowball fights, and Hermione is like, hey, I gotta go get ready for the ball at 5 o'clock, so 3 hours early. And Ron's like, what do you need 3 hours to get ready for? And he's just still being a jerk. And even once Harry and Ron go get dressed, they don't like their dress robes or how they look, so Harry decides to singe off the lace and frills, and now it looks all tattered and uneven and not very nice. And once they get to the ball and the champions have special seating for the feast, that's when Harry realizes that Hermione is there with Victor Crumb and that she is looking gorgeous. So go girl. You've got your teeth fixed, you've got your hair up nice, you've got your good clothes on, you've got a hot killer date. This is your year, Hermione, and you are crushing it. But all of the champions and their dates have to sit at this front table with all of the judges, and Mr. Crouch is not there, but Percy is in his place. And apparently Percy has been promoted to Crouch's personal assistant. And Percy starts saying that Crouch hasn't been right since the World Cup. So I feel like that's an important detail. I can't remember if there's any payoff for it in the movie, but I'm wondering if something happened or if Crouch was switched or something like that. Oh, that would be great if it was like a doppelganger Crouch that had fired Blinky, and then at the end of the book she'll get her job back and she'll be so happy. I would love that for her. But yeah, something's up with Crouch, and Percy's so happy. He's just like, yeah, he's probably just tired because he doesn't have all the home comforts now that he doesn't have a house elf anymore. And the Weird Sisters do appear. They're the band that was mentioned last chapter. Still no word on what they really do music-wise. And Parvati is leading Harry to dance because he's just an idiot at all this stuff and doesn't want to be up there. But after that first dance, he makes them go sit down, and Ron and Padma have been sitting the whole time, and eventually Parvati goes to dance with the, I didn't write the name down, the Buxombo boys, the French boys. So there are boys that actually came with that school. I didn't think there were at first. And eventually Padma gets up and leaves too because Ron refuses to dance with her. And Hermione comes to the table for a minute, and Ron's really mean to her, like, oh, aren't you calling Victor Vicky yet? And blah, blah, blah. Why does he even like you? He's trying to get to Harry and make Harry lose. And he's just trying to use you to cheat. And Hermione's like, absolutely not. Victor has been in the library day after day trying to work up the courage to ask her out. And Ron's calling Victor the enemy, and he's just furious until Hermione storms away. And so Ron and Harry go walk off in the garden that have all these rose bushes and fairies that are lit up, lighting the place up. And Hagrid walks over with Madame Maxine. It turns out that his mom was a giant who left him when he was 3 years old, and then his dad died when he started school. I assume that they mean like Hogwarts school and not like kindergarten, but oh man, that was an info dump. And he said, I knew what you were as soon as I saw you, Madame Maxine, and I know you're a half giant too. And Maxine gets all offended and leaves, and she's like, I'm just big boned. And Ron and Harry are like, no, you're not. Everybody can see that you're half giant. And Ron's also like, hey, by the way, giants are terrible, evil things. We don't like them in the wizarding world. They're killers. They're like trolls. They're evil. And Harry's like, oh no, that's not good for Hagrid. No wonder he keeps that a secret. And Harry sees Cedric, and that makes him want to kick things because he's a hormonal boy who won't deal with his emotions. But Cedric, being completely oblivious, runs over and tells Harry to bathe with his egg, and that'll help him with the secrets. And that, hey, buddy, I owe you one because you warned me about the dragon. So Cedric's a good guy all around, and Harry, again, just seems like a jerk. And so Harry goes into the common room, and Ron and Hermione are yelling at each other, and it comes to the head of Hermione going, well, next time there's a dance, maybe ask me first instead of waiting to the last minute, keeping me as the last option, and then getting mad that I have a date. And she storms off, and Harry's like, I'm not going to say anything to Ron, but she be right. This was a long and grueling chapter. Hopefully the others are different and a little bit more peppy, and we'll get through more chapters soon. Sorry to kind of spew this so fast. I see my camera battery is trying to die, but what do you think of this chapter? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, which is absolutely free for you and does a ton to help me out in the algorithm of YouTube. Other than that, we will see you in the next chapter, hopefully soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye! If you had fun watching today's video, don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more, and let us know in the comments what other videos you might want to see in the future. Also, don't forget to check out our other channel, The Fangirl, where we talk about all kinds of movies, TV shows, and even books and comics. But viewer discretion is advised. See you next time, Fanily members!